it's Nina-Marie. Thanks so much for joining me today. I wanted to try out something fun. I love sparkle and I can't honestly get enough of it. So I thought for something fun today, I would combine two of my favorite shiny techniques, which are hot foiling and glitter paste, and put them together to create a really cool card. This is literally like the ultimate shimmer card. I love how this turned out. So in today's video, I'm using a couple of products from PinkFresh Studios. These are hot foil plates, and the cool thing is that these plates have coordinating stencils. They also have other coordinating products that work with these exact same foil plates, including stamps and dies. But in particular, I'm going to be using the stencils today to color in the butterflies and flowers that we're going to hot foil. So I have also here on the right my Spellbinders Glimmer machine. Any hot foil machine that you have would work. We want to go ahead and start by prepping our hot foil plates by placing them into the machine and letting them warm up. Off camera, I did add a little bit of tape to the back side of my hot foil plates. This is just some masking tape, and that's going to help grab onto my foil when I lay this down so things won't shift as I run this through my die cut machine to transfer that foil. My machine has two shims that I need to use in order to run this through my die cut machine. So I'll go ahead and transfer this over to my coordinating Platinum 6, also from Spellbinders, and I'll carefully and slowly run this through. Once I have done so, then I'll go ahead and bring this back over to the dock for my glimmer machine, and you can see the gorgeous transfer we got with this hot foil. I'm going to go ahead and do the butterflies next. With any machine, you're going to see that green light there on the left-hand side of the machine. Most hot foiling machines have an indicator light to tell you that the machine has fully heated up and it's ready to be used. So in between every foiling that you're doing, you want to make sure that your machine is completely warmed up and ready to go so that your plates will transfer the foil perfectly. It's a combination of heat and pressure that allows you to transfer the hot foil design onto your paper. Check out those butterflies. Aren't they gorgeous? Now with any hot foiling project, you know the plates are going to be super hot. So I like putting my hot plates onto my Simon Says Stamp Pawsitively Everything tools. Because they are made from silicone, they're heat safe. So you can go ahead and put those hot plates there while they cool off. Alright, so let's talk about stenciling next. We've already done our foiling, we've got our flowers and our butterflies. I've pulled out the stencil set that coordinates with the flowers first. With the technique that I wanted to do in mind, I started by doing some ink blending for the base layer of my leaves first. Then I'm going to pull in the second layer. This particular design for the leaves has 2 layers. Some of the stencil sets have 3. I'm going to transfer some ink through the stencil with Simon Says Stamp blending brushes, and of course that's giving this really nice shaded effect to the leaves. But before I remove the stencil, I'm going to take some clear glitter paste. You can use any brand of clear glitter paste as long as it will dry completely clear. That's going to get applied through the stencil on top of that final round of ink blending, and that's going to give this a sparkly finish. It looks a little cloudy now, but it will dry completely clear. For the flowers, I am going to section those off with some masking tape just to make sure that I don't get any ink transferred to one of the flowers next to the one I'm working on. But we're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to apply a layer of ink, color these flowers with some nice bright spring colors from our Simon Says Stamp Pawsitively Saturated Ink Collection. Then I'm going to bring in that second layer of stenciling. This one goes over top of the areas we haven't already colored, and it's going to allow us to add some shading to these images. So it's a really cool way to add some dimension. Now they look beautiful just the way they are with the ink blending, but by stepping it up and adding that shimmery paste on top, oh my gosh, the results are just gorgeous. Now for some of the designs you may want to clean off your stencil. I didn't do that for the leaves, but because I'm using so many colors here on this one and I don't want certain colors to transfer to another, I am buffing off the stencil without removing it, but I buffed off the excess ink before I went through and applied my paste. So depending on what you're working on, you may or may not want to clean the stencil before applying this paste. After I applied that paste, I'm going to lift this off and you can see these are going to have a gorgeous shimmery finish on certain sections of the flowers. Now the butterflies are also really unique in that they do the same thing. There are stencils that you can use to color in the butterflies. But what's really cool about the butterflies is that they have multiple layers. I think there's at least 4 layers of the butterflies. And each layer colors a section of every butterfly. So this comes together really quickly. I think it took me about 10 minutes to color all these different flowers and butterflies. So this is a really simple project. It allows you to make a ton all at once. So if you were going to use like only a single butterfly for every card you're working on, you can see here, you could get a lot of cards out of just this one round of foiling and stenciling. So we're going to color every section of these butterflies with different shades of the colors that I've chosen here. If you are interested in any of the colors that I'm using today for this project, be sure to check out the video description below or the blog, because I do list all the products that I'm using today, including every ink color. So that way, if you have any questions on what exact color I used, you can find that information there. Okay, so the last layer of the butterflies, which is the outer edges and then the centers of all the butterflies, that's the layer I decided I wanted the glitter paste on, because I thought those were the pieces that would catch the light the best. Those outer edges would sparkle as the light hits them. If you don't want the paste on the layer I'm putting it on, you can totally put it on a different layer. Just remember to color that layer last, because you want to allow the paste to dry before you do anything else. Okay, so now I'm applying that paste on top of the butterflies. Now for this one, I didn't worry about the colors mixing as much because I actually wanted them to mix. So I left the ink that was on top of the stencil, and as I applied the paste, it's mixing a little bit with the paste, so it's giving me a new color in between. So that worked really well in adding some purplish areas here and there across the butterflies. So these are going to look absolutely stunning. We're going to set all these wet things aside to dry while we work on some more stenciling. I have the Simon Says Stamp XL Rose Bouquet stencil here. This is a really large stencil, so it's going to cover the entire A2 panel that I have here. I will trim this panel down. It's not going to be quite a full-sized A2 panel. But I'm going to apply that same glitter paste that we added to the butterflies and the flowers, and this is going to be a background. Now you're not going to see a ton of this background. This is going to more accent everything. It's going to add that little bit of sparkle and shine in the background, and it's going to make things even more magical. I have some Simon Says Stamp metallic matte gold cardstock. This is gorgeous and it looks great with the gold hot foiling we did. So I'm going to use this to matte my panel here, which I've already cut down to be slightly smaller than an A2 card, and that's going to give a nice border around this panel. You can see that white A2 card underneath our rose panel. I'm going to carefully start applying some of these flowers and leaves along the bottom right corner of my card. I did decide to use foam tape for this, and I'm just going to layer these pieces up to create a little floral spray along that corner. Some of these pieces are hanging off the end, so I do want to make sure I trim them down with my shears so that way they don't impact the finished card, along the bottom edge especially. So this is the panel that's going to eventually get adhered onto our card. I next added the butterflies in different areas of this design, trying to make it look as if they're cascading up from the flowers and flying away. So I'm gluing them down with only the center portion of the butterfly being attached to the panel. So what I did was I folded those butterflies, and so that way they're kind of cupped. So that way they're going to look like they're fluttering and dimensional, but they're not that bulky because there's no foam tape or anything behind them. So that gives them dimension without adding extra bulk to the card. I pulled out a sentiment strip set from our Simon Says Stamp collection. I chose an I love you greeting, but you could totally use this card for thank yous, birthdays, whatever you want. I just put that sentiment down on top of the flowers with a bit of liquid glue, and then I used Simon Says Stamp Dot Runner to add a bit of adhesive to my card base so that I could glue this panel down. Finally, I know we're not done yet. Finally, I added some clear sequins. These are going to just kind of trail along with the butterflies and add a bit more movement to kind of draw your eye up. And I really liked how this whole card came together. With all that sparkle and the gold foiling, this card is literally magical. And I love how I could pair the foiling and the paste together because there was those coordinating stencils that worked with the hot foil plates. So it's really fun. Do you like to hot foil or use glitter paste? Which one do you like to use more? Would you ever try doing this technique of pairing the two together to create a really cool effect? I would love to hear what you have to say about that. So be sure to leave a comment below and let me know what your favorite shimmery technique is, or if you'd like to try this one too. I hope that this idea was inspiring to you. I hope it gave you some cool ideas on how you can use coordinating products to make some really unique effects. Until I see you all again, I hope everyone has a very happy, sparkly day, and I can't wait to come back soon and share more with you all. Bye!